What'd you see them?
Big massive left. Both babies from the gas door down, boom.
This horror is being described by William Hoehn. One afternoon, he returned to the apartment where he lived with his girlfriend, Brooke Cruz, and walked into something no home should ever hold the memory of. Bloodstains in the bathroom. In Brooke's arms was a newborn who, after every expectation, should still have been inside their 8-month pregnant upstairs neighbor, Savanna Greywind, who had suddenly vanished. What happened to her and how her child ended up there now lives inside the words of only 2 people in that room.
A long hook, and you guide it up to your cervix, and you just drink your water. It's really easy.
Savanna Greywind, a 22-year-old expectant mother in Fargo, left her apartment on August 19, 2017, to help her upstairs neighbor, Brooke Cruz, model a dress. At 1:24 p.m., she sent a last text to her family saying that she'd be right back, but she never returned. Her family reported her missing, but initial searches of Brooke and William Hoehn's apartment revealed nothing suspicious. Within days, however, cracks started to appear. While the community searched for Savannah, William was telling coworkers that Brooke had just given birth to a baby girl. Detectives soon used a general warrant to bring him in for questioning, not yet as the prime suspect, but as the man closest to the timeline that no longer made sense.
I want to talk to you, Will, about this past weekend.
Okay.
Where were you at this past weekend? What was your schedule? What were you doing? Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, I worked. Saturday, worked. Not as much, half day.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I chilled, man. I go home all day.
So Friday.
I mean, I was home most of the day. I mean, I might have went around the neighborhood, but I didn't go home all day.
Sure. So, Saturday.
Yep.
Going a little late, get off a little early.
Yep.
And you get dropped off over at Brooke's house?
Yep.
What do you do when you get dropped off?
Go inside, go upstairs, go home.
About what time is that?
About 2 is what you told me.
So.
Okay, so you get in,
come
go
in.
upstairs.
I seen Brooke, and she introduced me to that Savannah girl.
Mm-hmm.
And she just said, "Hi, honey, glad you're home. This is Savannah." Hey. I went to bedroom, started to, undress for my day, unwind my empty out my pockets, fired up my computer. Yeah, I fired up my computer, started my shower. And her dad knocking.
Savannah's dad?
Yeah.
William presents the afternoon as routine, a familiar sequence of work, home, and small talk, and for the investigators, much of it can, in fact, be verified. Savannah's father really did arrive at the door searching for his pregnant daughter, and Brooke met him while William remained behind the sound of running water. What remained unseen at the doorway was that the emergency had already occurred, contained just out of view. What happens next will decide whether William is recalling an ordinary day or carefully navigating the edges of a murder.
Did you answer the door or what happened?
I was half naked in the bathroom. I just heard.
What'd you hear?
I just heard her dad talking. Couldn't understand what he was saying. I had the bathtub running.
Okay.
As she took off at that point, some point I got out the shower. I went to the store, went and did some running around. And at some point, her family was back upstairs, when I come back, because I had to be excuse me. That might have been later, though. That might have been after y'all had been called.
Okay. What were Brooke and Savannah doing when you got there?
They were in the living room. This is one of those moments, but I don't want to give you bad information, but she said that something about fitting a dress for her. I don't know if they were done with that or if they were still doing that.
And how long until you did come out then?
Well, Brooke come in at some point.
Well, she came in when you were in the shower?
Yeah, she jumped in the shower with me at some point, or maybe halfway through my shower.
How long do you normally shower?
20 minutes.
Is that a normal thing for you guys?
Absolutely.
Okay. In the shower?
Not that day.
What did I get? I got.
Who was with you?
Brooke was with. So I went and bought myself a new pair of roof and shoes. I went and bought.
William continues drifting across the afternoon, offering loose fragments instead of a full story, never settling long enough for detectives to anchor anything solid. He recalls errands, conversations, even a trip to the store, while leaving out the purchase that matters most: baby diapers. They let him speak, watching and waiting. Then they introduce a single calculated detail, an incident balanced in the shadows, knowing that whatever he says next will seal his fate.
We've executed a search warrant at your apartment.
Okay.
Brooke was home.
Yeah.
She's been down here for a little while. We've been chatting with her.
I figured that's why you guys have gone so long.
Yeah. What do we need to talk about, Will?
I don't know how to talk about it, man.
I want you to understand that we're concerned for Savannah's safety. We hope that you are as well. We would like to have the best possible resolution, whatever that may be, to be the resolution that we come to.
Right.
Okay. To be perfectly blunt about it, Will, let's get out ahead of this thing. I don't think it needs to get any worse for anybody else.
Well, it's not going to get any better for me. Like,
Well, here's the thing.
At the point that I'm at, I'm not going home tonight.
I want to know what happened, but more importantly, Will, I want to know why. How did you, Will Hoehn, end up in this position? And I think that maybe you can explain that to me. The baby that's in your house, is that Savannah's baby?
I don't think so.
Whose baby is it?
I can't tell you for sure, man.
Well, that seems kind of ominous.
I don't know. I can't tell you for sure.
Where did that baby come from?
Don't have a good answer for that.
Is
My life's older, man. So
Is Savannah still in the building?
She was. You guys would have fucking found her by now, right?
How come you didn't fill us in better Monday night, Tuesday morning?
I've been under the impression for like months now that Brooke's been expecting, didn't think it could happen. She had a doodle down a long time ago.
Okay.
Did a little research, find out that those can come undone.
Sure can.
So, like, I was under the impression that she was pregnant. Well, I was abuse charge, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she's scared the whole time that, like, when we have this baby, they're just gonna come and take the baby. It's like, was she really pregnant? I don't know. And I never coming up on the time of, like, if you are pregnant, you should be producing a baby soon,
Should be some signs.
Well, and, like, you can have a baby and, like, be to term and still be the size of a girl.
Well, they made a whole TV show about it.
Yeah, it's like...
Didn't know I was pregnant.
Right. And a lot of those girls are just, like, really big girls, but...
Sure.
Detectives watch William Hoehn retreat into caution, choosing words that protect more than they reveal. His life with Brooke Cruz has long revolved around one fragile promise: a baby keeping them together. William had 3 estranged children from previous relationships. In 2011, he avoided a decade in prison after fracturing his infant son's skull. He describes the incident as an accident, yet its shadow lingers in every answer he gives. Brooke understands the consequences of her failure. William never spells it out, but the message is clear: no child, no relationship. As he maintains his version in the interview room, detectives shift their focus to Brooke.
You know Savannah well?
Not very well, no. I mean, nobody in the apartment building, like, knows the other people very
Okay,
well.
it's not a real social building.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you don't know Savannah. How about her family?
Not very well. I know her mother better than I know, like, any of the other ones. Like, and that's because she works at the dollar store, and I go up and shop at the dollar store, so talk to her occasionally. Talk to her more at her job than I did actually at home.
Okay.
So,
She guys have made the connection.
Yeah.
In regards to the search warrant today, any questions or wondering where we're at with things, or?
yeah, well, yeah, I'm just update, like,
Sure. There's investigators at your house right now.
okay,
And they'll be there for a while, just finishing up the warrant.
right.
We're obviously very concerned about Savannah.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
that's why we're here. That's why
Absolutely.
we're at your house.
Okay,
Savannah was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah.
When she went missing.
yeah,
I asked you at your house about the infant.
Yeah.
At your home.
Yeah.
You kind of danced around the answer to that question with me as to who, you said the baby's healthy, which is good. We want to put emphasis on that. My question for you is where is baby's mom?
when it comes to that, all I know is I was asked to take care of the baby for a short period of time, and that's what I've done. Above and beyond that, I probably should talk to an attorney.
Okay. So somebody made the request to you?
Yes. And I've just been trying to take care of this infant until I don't have to take care of this infant anymore. Without ordering up, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, help us find Savannah, if we understand, and that's...
I have no idea. What I told the officers on Saturday and Sunday is absolutely true. When Savannah left my home at 2:45 on Saturday afternoon, she was well and healthy and walking on her own 2 feet.
Pregnant.
Yes.
Inside the interview room, Brooke Cruz speaks an unsettling calm, recalling hallway small talk as if nothing catastrophic has happened. She claims Savannah left alive, casts herself as a temporary caretaker, and revolves around asking for a lawyer, convinced she can still stay ahead of the consequences. Detectives see through the act, step out, and let silence do the work. At 1:24 p.m., Savannah sends her last texts before walking upstairs for a dress fitting. Brooke then lures Savannah into the bedroom and pushes her, causing her to hit her head on the sink. While Savannah is losing consciousness, Brooke uses a knife to perform a forced C-section to remove the baby. William says he returned home between 2 and 2:30 p.m., a narrow window that tightens around him. Brooke, meanwhile, places herself chatting with neighbors at 4 p.m., just before police arrive for the first apartment search. Now, investigators turn back to William because his account will decide how long Brooke's version of events can hold.
So Brooke told you that she was pregnant.
Yeah, that's
When did she tell you that she was pregnant?
January,
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, and it's August, end of August, so that would be coming up on 9 months.
Produced a baby, man.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you found a baby in my house.
I sure did.
When was the first time you saw baby?
I don't want to say, man. I don't want to say.
Do you think?
Well, I mean, I think I know, but this is one of those things, Will, that I want from you.
I know it is, man, but like, I don't,
Everybody, because other people are telling us.
I love Brooke dearly, and I promise to have her back 100% to the end. I promise to have her back 100% to the end, guys. And you know what,
Well, if Brooke did something and she's expecting you to cover for her, that is so unfair to you, it's
I know it
unbelievable.
would be.
But you also have to consider, I don't know what Brooke's talked about, Will.
I don't.
And you don't
And
know
you
what
guys
she's
aren't about to
you.
tell me either.
No, you're right. I mean, you're a smart guy.
I get that. I
Yeah.
get how that goes, man. It's like, you wanna take what she said and then take what I said and then compare notes. I get it. I get how it works, like I told you the other night.
I just don't want her to be able to railroad you and you not have a chance to tell your
I
side of
don't
the
think
story.
she will, man. I don't fucking think she will.
Please don't. Things change in police interview rooms.
Yeah.
Where is she?
I don't know, man.
Because Brooke never left that apartment that I know of. But you did.
Yeah, I left a bunch of times. So, like, I met Brooke, and, like, for years, all I wanted is a family, you know what I mean?
You wanted back what you had before.
So, like, at this point, she produced a baby, and just told me not to fucking ask a lot of fucking questions, and, you know, it's our baby, and...
Did she want a baby? Or did she just think that you wanted a baby, or
Or do you really think she's trying to keep your own? Like,
I think she wanted a baby.
In the interview room, William Hoehn hides behind loyalty. A young woman lured upstairs, a brutal struggle in a bathroom, a child cut free, a cleanup measured in minutes, and a disappearance that has already outgrown excuses clings to a safer version. He arrived after the baby was born, and the fear kept him silent. However, detectives hear something else, a man who wanted a child and may be protecting something more than love. But patience has its limits, and the next push from the detectives will force him to confront who benefits from his silence.
Is that what you were talking about when you used this several times? You used the term being terrorized by the Greywinds. Is that what you're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Dude, somebody slipped a note under our door last night that says, "We know you did it." We, N-O, as no. You did it.
what did Brooke say when she saw that?
She was ready to call one of you two. She grabbed them 2 cards that I took from you guys last time.
What was she gonna say?
I don't know. And that's, I said, you know, what are you gonna say to them? Like, you know, that they're terrorizing us, that we're being helpful.
I wish you had. I do. I wish you had called.
And,
We'd have been there.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was kind of something that we were trying to avoid.
Hey, you know, going back to what we talked about with, we don't want to hear it just from Brooke.
Right.
There's obviously a lot more that's gone on here. So, I want you to answer a simple question. Do you know where Savannah is?
No.
Do you know if Savannah is okay?
No.
Does Brooke know where Savannah is?
I do not know. I get the same response from her every time.
Which is what?
It's probably the same thing she told you guys. She left. She left.
You come home, she's there, you're in the shower, 10 minutes later, Brooke's in the shower, you go on about your business, none the wiser. Let me ask you this, the officers came through your house 3 times, I think?
3 times.
Was that baby in the house when the officers came through?
Not sure.
How can you not be sure?
I think so. Like, I really don't think she's still there.
Do you think Brooke is capable of doing something to Savannah? If she's maintained this facade to you for 9 months, and now she's got to go through with it?
I never would have thought that.
What day did you come home from work and Brooke presented you with a child? Remember how I said my brain works chronologically?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help it, but that would help me. If we just get some basics here.
Dude, it's really hard for me to say more, because, like, I'm just stuck in, like, this in my head. It's like, dude, you promised you couldn't have her back and protect her as best you can.
You don't owe her okay? This is potentially unbelievably serious situation that you've gotten yourself into here, and you don't owe her.
You know that.
I don't know her, okay? If she's that insane, if these are the things that she's capable of doing, then you need to distance yourself from her in a big way.
Detectives have now heard enough. None of the things William says explains the logic of what happened inside that apartment. The detective pivots, reminding William Hoehn that protecting Brooke Cruz will not shield him from what the evidence already shows. William wavers between grim acceptance and desperate possibility, trying to preserve a version of events where shock excuses everything. Detectives refuse to let that fantasy breathe, preparing to confront him with the one experience he cannot pretend to misunderstand.
To the extent that you're in the shower together on Saturday afternoon. Now, I don't think that anybody's going to sit back and believe that you simply assumed, having had previous children, that your girlfriend had given birth to a child that afternoon and here you guys are together. Like, that's just not how that goes. Well, that you were that naive. We've talked too much for anybody to think that you don't understand what's going on.
Where are you coming from?
Where'd you guys put the baby when the cops came?
The baby was right there.
You just didn't see it?
The baby was like right there. A little bit, like I didn't want to go out and spend money for a crib right away because I've been trying to get caught up on rent to make sure the electric don't get shut off, man.
Sounds good, you got a baby at home. Where was the bed? Was it like in your bed?
No, it was like right there in the bedroom on the stand, man. Just a little, like, we should made a bed out of a suitcase is what we were going with. Like, I think it was a suitcase.
Just like on a dresser or something like that?
And that was going to be our baby bed.
Inside the apartment, the priority was no longer the woman who had vanished. It was the newborn who could not be allowed to exist in plain sight. When that became risky, the baby was shifted into makeshift hiding spots, including a suitcase bed. They completely relied on luck and silence. A dresser was hollowed, drawers nailed back, and a temporary grave built in the furniture to keep the body of Savannah. So investigators pivot to the timeline he cannot escape, and they begin dismantling the idea that any adult in that room could mistake this for an ordinary birth.
I'm not at your house right now, and I don't know what the gals and the guys over there are gonna find as far as evidence, as far as to what happened, right? But I do know that Savannah wasn't at your house long, and that whatever happened, it happened in a short amount of time. And you got home not that long after she arrived at your house. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, right?
Right. Like, I don't know exactly when but you guys should know
We
when the last time she was seen.
Yeah, and I mean, when she was texting.
She's in multiple text message conversations.
Yep, so we
know the minute she stopped.
Yep, so we've got that, and we can narrow it down, and you told us what time you got home. And we've looked into that a little bit, and you're not lying, which is good. On the other hand, when we leave here and we talk to the guys and gals over at your place, and they're like, this is what we're finding, and there's evidence of what happened, then, again, Josh, me, and all the big people, the big picture people, are gonna look at that and say, wow, I don't think Brooke was able to manage all of that before Will got home.
Detectives now slow the conversation and tighten the frame. Investigators lay it out carefully, giving him space to step away from her before she speaks first. But he doesn't move, and the next minutes drag him back to the doorway he has been trying not to enter.
Your side of it.
Dude, you know, I asked about where the baby come from, and the way I said, yeah, she gave me a baby, she left. It doesn't work.
you to say that you walked in and Savannah and Brooke were working on a project and you jumped in the shower, and 10 minutes later Brooke jumps in the shower, and you run over to the liquor store for a six-pack and come back and she's got a baby. None of that works. I think that you saw some things. I think you saw Brooke doing some things. And instantaneously you're in way over your head and you don't know what to do. The baby's safe.
Is it with the people still?
We have the baby.
Right, is she still living with people?
Mm-hmm.
You guys named her?
No, we didn't name the baby.
Somebody named her.
What do you mean?
I heard them out in the hallway saying, oh, look at this little thing. Maybe they were just sharing pictures.
Oh, I don't know if that would have anything to do with this. Maybe an officer just had a baby or something, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. But
I know you very well.
just,
What?
I've lost everything in my life. I'm fucking bailing out. I'm fucking not living up to my fucking word.
What did you see when you came home from work on Saturday?
Saw a baby, man. I saw a baby shortly after I come home. It's a big mess in the bathroom.
Things you wish you could unsee. So what did she say to you then, when you walked in on that?
When that came in, like sense, but I don't know when she showed me the baby. She said, come out the thing right away or what. I should remember. Yeah. I remember that.
Well, is that why you went to the bathroom when her dad came knocking on the door?
Hmm?
Is that why you were in the bathroom when her dad came knocking on the door?
No, that's first there in the bathroom.
There's a big mess in there. I mean, were you mad? I mean, were you scared?
I imagine so.
It was like blood all over the floor, man. But it wasn't like, didn't look like fucking like punched on the nose and bleed from the nose, but
What did it look like?
like really light, wasn't like,
Like blood mixed with water?
like pink blood. But not like nasty blood. Like when I sliced this open, all that skin came off and it just started to pour out of there. It's like heavy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like heavy blood.
And what was Brooke doing? Was she in the bathroom?
Just trying to clean up.
What'd you do with all the blood?
Cleaned it up.
Where'd you throw it? Where'd you throw the rags and the cloth and the tissue? I mean, where'd you throw everything?
I'm not sure where it all went. It all went out of the house.
Where'd you take it, Will?
I remember, man, I was throwing a lot of shit out.
Like in the garbage cans?
The fucking weed pipes out. Fucking,
Did you put it in the car? The driveway? Did you run it to the dumpster next door? I mean, what'd you do with all that stuff?
is she capable? Obviously, she's capable.
She's telling you what to say.
Don't ask her. Don't ask her in my mind. Brooke could have midwifed the baby. Absolutely. fits the timeline and everything going on. I went out there. I know it wasn't a plan on my part, but I don't think whatever happened was her plan either. I really honestly want to know if she's pregnant right now. Like,
Brooke?
yeah.
I don't believe so.
Does she not believe so?
Dude, we walked into a storm. I mean, maybe not what you expected.
I'm saying, what the fuck, I saw a baby and said, what?
You have the blood all over, right?
Yeah, and there's fucking like pink blood all over the floor.
And Savannah.
I'm saying that.
I know you're not, but I'm asking you to tell me the truth about that, because I want to know. I want to know what was done.
I try to convince myself that.
William keeps orbiting the doorway. He admits the sight is unforgettable, calls it chaos, a nightmare, anything but participation. Every time detectives drag him toward the bathroom and toward Savanna Greywind, he leaks a detail, then snaps back into fog. It is a confession by inches, followed by retreat. That balancing act is about to collapse, because the next few minutes force him to confront blood, hair, and a timeline that no story can outrun.
You may not have known whether Brooke was really pregnant or not. I can buy that.
I believe she was.
But to leave for work on Saturday morning and come home Saturday afternoon to a baby, just like you said, that isn't Caucasian, and a bloody mess in your
It was
bathroom.
more about the black hair. It was more about the black hair than the skin color.
And what about the blood and the black hair that's stuck to the ceiling in the bathroom above your bathtub? What about that black hair?
Blood, black hair and blood.
In the bathroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a clump of black hair and blood stuck to the ceiling above your bathtub. Again, while I'm not a medical doctor, but short of her being killed and that baby cut out of her, I don't know how she gets to that point within an hour of you coming home.
It could have helped her deliver that baby and she ran away. It could have very well helped her deliver that baby. Said she could run away. That's a legitimate possibility.
Yet, this whole time Brooke's been running a facade that she's pregnant to keep you around. That seems oddly convenient. That it just so happens in your little apartment building on a quiet street in North Fargo, a young lady who's about to give birth is willing to give up her baby so she can run away to a person that's been faking being pregnant for 9 months to her boyfriend because she's afraid he's going to leave.
I don't know that Brooke was faking being pregnant, though.
Well,
I still don't know that. Yeah, she could have.
Well, a little bit ago, you were being real quiet and saying that you just can't tell me. You just can't tell me what you saw when you came through that door.
I saw a baby in the goddamn mess.
In Savannah.
Nothing.
I think you did. I don't think Brooke could single-handedly pull this off. I really don't.
I think you'd be amazed. You'd really be amazed by that girl.
So your girlfriend has a baby.
Yes.
Oh, happy day. She's cleaning up a big bloody mess when you get home from work. Better hurry up and clean it all up and bag that and go drive it to a random apartment complex in West Fargo and throw away the evidence in a dumpster.
I didn't get rid of it right away, man.
Well,
I didn't get rid of it right away.
so why not use your own dumpster?
Because Greywinds were terrorizing us.
By By this point, William Hoehn has already tied himself to the aftermath, even in the version that favors him. He walks in, understands something has happened, and chooses to stay. From then on, he helps protect the lie alongside Brooke Cruz, hiding the infant during repeated searches, assisting in a cleanup that leaves police with nothing, and helping move and dispose of Savannah's body. He repeats the same story to everyone. It isn't a confession, but it is enough. Detectives stand, leave him in the room, and carry those fractures down the hall, because Brooke is about to hear just how much he has already given away.
That's not up to us. I suppose that would be dependent on what we talk about, if anything else, and depending on what we've been talking to Will about and what they're finding at your apartment as they continue to
Well, they can't
search.
be finding much at my apartment because there's nothing at my apartment to find.
Okay.
So, you know, all I'm concerned about now is what kind of trouble am I looking at for having the baby in my possession?
Sure.
So, I mean, you guys are detectives, you know.
I know some of what they found, I know some of what Will said. We actually haven't sat down with the prosecutors to really put it all together yet, as far as everything.
Okay, well, let me start by saying that I met Savannah many weeks ago, and she was not happy. She was not happy with her parents. She was not happy with her life. Said that she was sick of it and wanted to get away. And I helped her do that. And this is why I asked, you know, what am I looking at here? Am I looking at obstruction charges? Am I looking at, you know, I don't know. I was honest about Saturday that, you know, that she wasn't there, and she was supposed to come back for the baby yesterday, and she didn't.
So what about Saturday specifically then? Did you guys, or over the course of these conversations, you said you were going to help her get away. How were you going to do that?
I basically told her how she could break her water and induce her labor and have her baby.
Okay. How would that help her get away?
Because then she could go. She didn't want the baby.
Okay.
She wanted to get away. And I told her, I can only do this for a couple of days. You're going to have to find something else to work on, somewhere else to go. You know, I can't. And so then, yeah, I briefly thought, well, you know, if she doesn't come back, I can go ahead and try and, you know, claim this baby as my own if I need to, you know.
Okay.
And that's basically that. I mean, other than that, there's nothing else I can tell you. There hasn't been anything else going on. No, I didn't. She left, and then she came back Saturday. Actually, probably would have been Sunday, Monday, early Monday morning, around 3:30. I met her outside, and I took the baby, and then she left, and that was it.
Did she call you or text you?
No, she said she didn't have my number. She just knew where I lived, and I never leave my house. So I just kept a lookout for her. When I saw her, I ran down to grab the baby. I went back up. She was gone, and she said that the baby looked real good, and she said that, you know, please don't tell anybody. I'll try to be back sometime next week, and that was it.
Do you have any training in that sort of thing? Are you a nurse or something?
Well, I've got some nursing training, and I've had kids. I mean, I know, you know, a little bit about giving birth and what's necessary for things like that.
So what kind of guidance did you provide?
I basically told her that she could. I said, well, you know, you can break your own water, right, and it'll bring on your labor. And she said, no, I didn't know that. And I said, yeah. I said, it won't always bring on your labor, but most of the time it will. And so I told her, I said, you basically, you know, you get a long hook and you know, guide it up to your cervix and you just break your water. It's really easy.
What kind of hook?
I think I don't know what she ultimately used, like I said, because she wasn't with me when she did it.
What did you advise her?
I told her to use a shish kebab, like a long shish kebab stick.
Oh, like for like a barbecue?
Yeah.
Grill?
Yep. You know, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't.
As the questioning continues, Brooke Cruz calmly creates a past where Savanna Greywind is miserable and desperate to escape. It is fiction, but she delivers it smoothly. She is weaponizing the failed searches of her apartment. If police missed a newborn 3 times, she assumes they might doubt themselves again. Unlike William, she sees leverage. She repeats it, builds on it, and offers them a version that protects their competence. What she cannot see is that the patience across the table is thinning, and investigators are about to present information that makes her performance harder to sustain.
I had no baby in my apartment then because the baby wasn't there then.
What you just told us is completely untrue.
Okay, because you guys were there.
I wasn't there, bro.
Okay, so you don't know. Women leave babies in dumpsters every single day. Maybe not every day, but all the time. Women leave their babies.
And that's not what happened in this case, Brooke. And we're not here to raise voices or argue. I mean, we go by the facts, and we know what we have and we know what we don't have. We'll talk about a lot of things with us.
Okay.
He wanted there to be a strong trust between the two.
Okay.
And he talked about that.
I'm not sure how much he could have shared with you considering he didn't know that much.
Well, Brooke, the lie isn't working. All right? There's evidence. There's timelines that can't be changed. There's things that we know.
Okay.
All right?
All I know is that I was supposed to care for that baby for a very short period of time.
Are you pregnant?
No.
Okay. Do you have range you were pregnant?
I thought I was several months ago, but other than that, you know, I feel like you guys are trying to play me because, first of all, there isn't much that Will knows about this in the first place.
I believe some of that to be true.
I tried to keep him out of the loop as much as possible.
We asked Will about it, and he tells us his perspective.
Right. My home was searched Saturday twice and Sunday, and there was nobody there.
Yep.
Except for Will and I.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
And now the forensic teams are in there.
Yeah, I get that. The forensic teams can be in there.
We've been at your house. You know that the Greywind family has had about 20 people on surveillance on that building.
I know that.
Since Saturday afternoon.
Yes, I know that.
I would suggest that Savannah herself walked up with a baby at 3:30 in the morning.
I'm telling you, I walked out that door at 3:30 on Sunday night, early Monday morning, and there wasn't anybody out there. The people in apartment 3 were out partying, and everybody else was asleep.
In the interview room, Brooke Cruz remains calm and cooperative, insisting the baby was never there while holding on to a pregnancy that had unraveled months earlier. Believing William Hoehn has not shifted his account, she refuses to shift hers. Mixed into her denial are fragments of truth. She did step out at 3 a.m. to check the hallway, but she omits that she later threw Savannah's body into the Red River. Detectives let her talk, knowing the pressure point is coming next, and when it lands, her certainty about Will is about to fracture.
Why was Will under the impression that you were pregnant this whole time?
This whole time?
Mm-hmm. See, we talked to people, Brooke. We talked to his coworkers. We talked to his...
Yeah, I get it.
We talked to his former coworkers.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. What do you think that he tells everybody that he works with and everybody he knows over the last several months?
That we're having a baby.
And why would he do that?
Because we thought we were having a baby.
Or you told him that you...
No, I was under the impression that I was pregnant, officer.
Up until when?
Not that long ago. Like, I can't give you a specific date.
Give me a rough month.
Like, I thought I was pregnant right up until just recently, and then
Just recently.
and then I was like, I gotta go to the doctor because I'm sick. And then look at me. I've been running a fever. For all I know, I have a dead fetus in my body right now, and it's making me sick. He knew that something was wrong with me, and I told him that.
But he also knew that you were no longer pregnant.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because I didn't. Because I didn't, and I don't now.
You just told us that you thought you were pregnant.
Yeah, right.
The first question we asked, are you pregnant? No,
Yeah.
was your reaction.
And honestly, I felt like this opportunity was maybe a godsend, almost.
What opportunity?
The opportunity to potentially take care of a baby. You know what I mean?
Savannah, baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm guilty of getting caught up in an idea that I could somehow make her baby mine.
Sure.
But as far as causing her harm or, you know, anything like that, no.
You didn't assist her with the birth?
No. You talk about the timelines and the chronology? Okay. She was at my house from 1:30 to 2:45. She left as soon as her dad came to the door.
Okay.
By 4 o'clock, I was out on the stoop with Mr. Greywind. By 4:30, the police were in my apartment. So by your own standards, detectives, I couldn't have helped her. Because at that point, and from that point forward, I've been under siege.
Brooke's story keeps changing in real time. The date she supposedly learned she wasn't pregnant drifts from months ago to weeks ago to practically yesterday, each revision delivered with the same rehearsed certainty. Even while cornered, she tracks the detective's logic and flips it back, using their own timeline to argue she couldn't have done what they suspect. And even when a new piece rattles her, she refuses to surrender ground. In the next moments, the pressure tightens as investigators bring up what William has been telling other people. Meanwhile, Brooke is forced to explain a version of events that is about to collide head-on with biology and memory.
So when Will gets to work on Monday, and his coworkers inquire about any baby news.
No, I wasn't there with him. I don't know what he said.
No, we know what he said.
I understand that, but...
Yeah, had a baby. Baby girl. Saturday night.
Guess when? Yeah. Saturday night.
Why would he say that?
Saturday night.
He told all his coworkers.
I don't know.
So what happens if Savannah's found deceased?
Oh. She better not be.
What happens if she does?
What happens if we find biological evidence?
Biological evidence.
Verified.
You might find a strand of hair from where she was sitting on my couch, but you're not going to find any other biological evidence.
What if they do? What if they find blood in your house?
They're going to find blood in my house. They're going to find blood from me. They're going to find blood from Will. They're going to find blood from my cat.
What if they find Savannah's blood in your house?
The only thing I can say about that is it didn't come from Saturday, and her family has lived in that apartment before. What do you mean what was going on?
What did Will come home to? What do you think he told us he came home to?
I have no idea what he told you he came home to.
Then what was actually going on when Will came home?
Savannah and I were sitting there talking. She was sitting on my couch and I was standing. I don't know what he told you. I don't know what he told you. And at this point, that's not my problem. My problem is to tell you what
It is your problem what he told us.
I'm sorry, right. It might be my problem.
It makes sense what he told us and yours doesn't at all.
And that's the point I'm trying to make here, Brooke. But we want to hear your side of it.
I told you my side of it.
And it's complete.
Was there before Will came home.
No.
Yeah.
No, I disagree. I don't know what he's telling you.
So this was Will then? I mean, that's what this comes down to, if we're gonna get down to brass tacks. How much did you do? How much did he do? Did you do it all together? That's what we're talking about here.
Do what?
Take that baby.
You think I took her, baby?
I think you took her baby.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
What else am I supposed to feel?
I'm sorry that you feel that way, sir.
The story that you told is not believable.
I'm sorry it's not believable. Neither is your assertion that from 1:30 until 3:30, I did something horrible to this girl, took her baby, cleaned it up, hid the baby. What?
Where was Savannah when her dad came knocked
What
on
am
the
I,
door?
super freaking human?
Where was Savannah when her dad knocked on
You
your door?
know what? I could have sworn he looked and made eye contact with her.
Well, he didn't see her.
He looked right in my apartment, and you know what? Don't get me started on Greywind, because their story has changed a lot.
But you said when you went down to get her on Saturday afternoon, it was already, that whole sewing thing was just a ruse. That the whole plan was, that was how you were going to help her get away.
Right.
But then you didn't tell her about having her own baby until she was up in your apartment.
Right. So if anything, I'm guilty of, maybe taking advantage of a distressed pregnant girl in the hopes that she would give me her baby.
Brooke distances herself from whatever William might have said at work, shrugs at the idea of evidence, and treats biology like a technicality. In less than an hour, her position evolves from reluctant babysitter to hopeful mother to opportunist who merely nudged a desperate woman toward a decision. It is slippery, strategic, and delivered with absolute confidence. And against all common sense, the apartment will yield no blood to contradict her. But confidence has limits because detectives are about to put something on the table that cannot be scrubbed, rearranged, or talked away.
The detectives that are at your house are sending me your internet search history.
Okay.
It's concerning.
Okay. I'm not sure why. Are you concerned that I listen to Alex Jones?
No, I'm concerned. Unassisted home birth instructions.
Yes.
Emergency childbirth.
Yes.
Manual. Preparing for unassisted childbirth.
Yes. And when were those searches done?
Unassisted baby.
And when were those searches done?
Well, there's a lot.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It is whatever. Yes, it is.
Why is it whatever?
Because you want to talk about perspective, but you don't have it in yourself.
I've got perspective.
No, you don't, because those searches were made months and months ago before Savannah even moved into that building.
August 9th, 2017, 8:54 p.m. Google. If a pregnant woman holds her breath, does the baby keep breathing? Question mark.
I didn't search that.
Brooke, it's time to stop.
I did not search that.
The temperature in the room changes the moment the browser search history comes out. Calm explanations give way to deflection, then denial, then outrage, because alongside tutorials on emergency childbirth sit darker curiosities. What happens to a baby if the mother dies? Diagrams of the human torso, and even how to tie a noose. Brooke waves it off as old, irrelevant, misunderstood, but the pressure is finally cracking the rhythm that carried her this far. The detectives stop debating possibilities and start using what William has already said to pressure Brooke, exposing the contradictions and the motive forming behind her silence.
At the end of her interview, it was the same conversation. It's the one question left. What can we do to find her? You'll have to ask Will. That was the one part she was assertive about. She swears she doesn't know what you did with her. Is she lying?
I don't know what she said to you guys, and I don't believe you guys.
The deputy chief of police just sent me a text message. He's with the family, the Greywind family. They've accepted the fact that Savannah is gone. They are pleading for you to do the right thing. They want to give her a proper burial. I don't want to talk anymore. Tell me where to go, Will.
3 of us jump in a car, each tell us where to go.
You take us to her. Did you say that I took the last person in your life that meant something to you? Because I didn't do anything.
You're right, you did. I didn't mean to attack you, sir.
I know it's hard to say the words, Will.
Can't help you. It's not about us, man. I don't know where Savannah was. I love Brooke so much. What if I ever had a baby? Yeah, I want to keep another family and have a bunch of kids. It never mattered. So this whole time about the big house.
I don't know if you ever turned around on a playground and one of your kids wasn't there for 2 seconds until you see him behind the tire or whatever. I know that feeling. Panic. Her entire family's felt nothing but that for the last 6 days straight. And you can make it stop and let them start the healing process.
I can't feel. I can't. I need a break, guys. Give me that. Yes, that take me down. You guys know what it is to sleep. You guys have to. I can't take this. I think I should ask a lawyer what else to say. I'm not in the right frame of mind to keep on talking to you guys. Freezing.
The appeal to Will's conscience doesn't shake him. He holds his position and is transferred to the county jail, and Savannah's whereabouts remain unknown, but only briefly. On August 27, 2017, kayakers discovered her body in the Red River, caught on a log downstream from the bridge where she had been dumped. While authorities were still searching for Savannah, her newborn has already been claimed. On the night of August 19th, William told co-workers that Brooke had delivered a baby girl named Phoenix, a story he later repeated to the investigators. After the infant was rescued and reunited with her biological father, she was given her rightful name, Hazley Jo, along with a native name meaning survivor. On February 2, 2018, Brooke Cruz pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. William Hoehn, on the other hand, was convicted at trial and on October 29, 2018, was also sentenced to life in prison.
She hit her head on the bathroom sink and fell. And that was when I went and got the knife. I started cutting the baby out.
Is she still unconscious during this time?
No, she woke up. I continued cutting, and then I reached in and took the baby out. And he said, if she wasn't dead before, she is now. I took that to mean that I better have a baby.